We have an interesting program today. We're going to talk about the families of
Alsups. It struck my attention that we haven't talked about the Alsups, and there's a lot of descendants of that collection of families. I don't know how much relation there was for sure. I have studied the census records and everything, trying to put the families together. I found no Alsups in the county by the 1850 census, but I think the first ones came here in 1850, but they didn't get here in time to be in the census. But they're in the 1860 and the 1870 census. That's as far as I have gone, because it's the early ones that we're trying to dig out. And I was aware all the time that Alsups gave the land, that is, James F. Alsup gave the land and the building for a school out there that we now call Ryderville Community, and it was called Alsup Community. And he gave that land and built the school building and was having a teacher in it as a sort of a tuition school, I think, before they really made it a community school. Mm-hmm. And this named the community. And the Alsups have been responsible for a good many things in this county that are good. And so I'd like to see them get their heads together and tie all this information into whatever relation it is. There's the Peter Alsup family, as I found, was the first one, the oldest one. And I believe the others are descended from it. But some of them are, I know, but I don't know whether all of them are. Some of them might have been nephews or cousins or something that came and settled in different parts of the county. But Peter Alsup was a native of Tennessee, and he got to this county in the 1850s, sometime in the 1850s. And he reared his family, finished rearing his family here. He had grown children when he came. In fact, by 1860, he was in his late 50s, and 57 I have here. I knew I had it down someplace. And his wife was named Mary, and they were both natives of Tennessee. However, by 1870, you know, census sometimes will foul you up. In the 1870 census, the report was that she's from Kentucky, but in the 1860s, her name went down as Tennessee also. At any rate, they came here with a family of some of them grown children and some young, and some children were born in this county. Now, that was Peter P. Alsup. Now, I find that the descendant, the great-granddaughter of James Alsup, said she thought her ancestor was the son of Peter, but she wasn't sure. So I like people that have a lineage in that name, that see if they can tie it together, because they can certainly be proud of the things that their family contributed to this county. For instance, James F. Alsup lived here from the 1850s until his death in 1878. He married Elmira House. Now, her father was one of the committees that measured off the lot to survey the lot in Stein House. And so she was from Panola County native also. In fact, she was from this county. Her father was an early settler here, but she married James Alsup. And as the ones that have researched who was the oldest man, and his James F. and the Elmira House also gave land for the school in Alsup Community. And it was named Alsup Community because of the family and the donation of the land, of course. And they reared 6 children to maturity and lost several in early childhood. Many children didn't make it out of the early childhood stage. You walk through the cemeteries and you find lots of babies' graves. So life was pretty hard for getting a child started in life. The deed for the school is dated 1878, and he starts it like this. I, James F. Alsups, being interested in a white school. See, this wasn't long after the war, and certainly they indicated what kind of school it was to be. I have agreed to donate about 2 acres, having already erected a schoolhouse and established a school. This is for the benefit of the community in which I now reside, on which lot Alsups School now stands. He says Reese Wilson has been the teacher, and it's about 4 miles out of Carthage. And of course, that school building stood there until in the 1950s the building died. Do you remember when it was that?
I don't remember.
Well, it was just almost right on that road. Robbie LeGrone established his first store out there, you know, and it was at Alsup in those days. And they still had a school in operation when we came into Carthage schools, because the rural schools had not consolidated at that time. So this was one of the well-known rural schools. In fact, it grew to be a 4-teacher school. And that took in all the high schools. These rural schools would teach through the 10th grade. And it took 11th grade to graduate back in those days. Now, of course, it takes 12 because we have kindergarten just started. Then there was another Alsup family that evidently is related to them, but I don't know exactly how. But this is Eric Elmer Alsup, and he, oh yes, I do know how, because I found that he was James F.'s son.
Okay.
And Elmira was his mother. Okay. And Eric Elmer then had a family, and one of his children was Lon Alsup. Now, Lon Alsup was the blind musician. And you don't remember him either, do you?
No, I don't.
Well, Lon had a music store here. He was a talented musician. Played and sang and just was very good.
We got a microphone problem, so and so I'm just going to fix it right now. And let you
Okay.
have this one.
Okay.
And, see if
We're
this
not
is-
going.
We're doing pretty good. I think your mic has got a little arrow on it there. You can just hold that if you'd like to,
Okay,
probably, and
okay.
continue on.
Well, Lon Alsup has made our county proud in many ways, because you see, he, as I said, was a talented musician. He was blind from childhood. Had understood an experience with a bad sandstorm when he was a little boy, and it ruined his eyes. And he went, from the time he was 7 years old, I understand, he attended the School for the Blind in Austin, and graduated there, and was a well-educated man. He ran a music store in Carthage for several years, and gave beautiful programs of music. And he ran for state representative and was elected by a big majority, and served in Austin as a blind representative. He married Zela Jordan, sister, by the way, to Dial Jordan. You know him?
Yes.
All right. His sister, his mother was Ada, my cousin, Ada White Jordan. And he served his term as maybe 4 years as representative in the House of Representatives. And then he, in that, he served on the Commission for the Blind, and he was named the state director of the Commission for the Blind. and lived in Austin and directed that until his retirement in the 1960s. So he made a name for himself and for the whole Alsup family, for that matter. And his Lon's wife was a sister, as I said, to Dial Jordan. But Lon himself had Odie Alsup that married Jim Gillespie. Now, did you know them?
Yes.
June, you remember June Gillespie in high school, the red-headed girl. Okay, Odie was his sister.
Okay.
She was an Alsup. So they spread out in several directions, and I'd like to see more emphasis. I'm trying to see what our time
We
is
got about
doing.
6 minutes.
Okay, I was gonna tell you a discovery that I made on them this week is what got me to thinking on this again. Mr. Garrett has been talking to us about some research that his history students have been doing on their family lineage. Mm-hmm. And I did not know that the Bunyards were related to the Alsups, but they are. So this Clifton Bunyard's sons, you see, are descendants also, and Clifton Jr. and Guy Lewis and Mary Elizabeth are the three children of Guy Bunyard and Sr. Mm-hmm. And they are also related to the Alsups, so they spread out to be very multi-talented is what I wanted to say. Many things they have been able to do and contribute to the community. So we can certainly be proud of them. James F. Alsup, whom we have talked about, and Peter Alsup, the older man, both were Civil War veterans as well. So and Peter Alsup had a store in Carthage with Mr. Thompson. Now I haven't, Alsup and Thompson was the business, and I haven't been able to tie together what family relation they were, but I believe they were closely related in the family as well. Maybe Thompson married an Alsup, I don't know. If you don't have a little bit to start with, and of course I had a little bit, but not enough to tie all the threads together without taking more time than I had on it. But I challenge the descendants of that broad-based family to get it together so they know who they are. You don't know who all you're kin to till you track down some things.
That's true.
And people in this area have family connections that go on back and back and back. Even new people coming in find that they have some roots suddenly that they didn't realize until they started looking. The city police chief's wife was in our library the other day, and she said they were on the way to Tennessee, and she needed to know some things, and she didn't know whether we had it or not. And they have a lot of connection in Tennessee. Well, most of us do if our families are early settlers, because they came by way of Alabama and Tennessee. We just have connections to the two states all over. And I said, well, did you look on the Tennessee shelf? She says, I didn't know you had a Tennessee shelf. And it was nearly time to close the library, and she fell down in there and found just what she wanted, plus a whole lot more that she didn't know she wanted. And she said she just couldn't believe it. But this is the way we're doing it. We're trying to tie the connections together and building these family traditions, and it will be there from here on.
Outstanding.
And
these people presently is known as Ryderville, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Alsup was Alsup, but it is now Ryderville. The old school is burned, but that was Alsup territory in the beginning.
I was trying to get the location of the schoolhouse. Is it close to where Seth Smith lives out in that area, or was it on?
Yes, it's a little, let's see, Seth, I believe it's, let me see, Helen Ryder's home and the church
Mm-hmm.
are right near the center of it.
Okay.
Now, the school was a little further back. It faced the highway, the road, but there was a little patch between, a little grazing ground between. Now, that might have been there. You know, they did ride horseback to school, some of them, and they might have had that for that purpose. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Sure.
But it was a good school for the times, and they finally, of course, consolidated. And I didn't mention that one of these Alsups, J.C. was his name, was superintendent of Carthage schools.
Is that right?
Just before Mr. Martin. In fact, J.C. Alsup was superintendent of Carthage schools from 1925 to 27. Well, you see, that's coming up pretty close to our age. Well, of course, my age it is in it, because I started teaching, shall I say when? 1925. Sure did.
So that...
and I didn't teach here then, but I began my career in 1925. So at the time he was superintendency, I was already in the teaching profession. But I made a notation that he was the one that began the movement in Carthage toward consolidation.
Is that right?
But it was a little early, and people didn't cater to it right then.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Martin followed him and hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm.
And so he planted the seed, let's say. And Mr. Martin took the ball and ran with it. Mr. Martin was the next superintendent. So you people that are related with the Alsups, get your act together. Let's get them honored as they ought to be in the library.
You love to challenge somebody, don't you?
Oh, I do. I sure do.
Bless your heart.
I started my writing of a heritage column as a challenge to people, because when we started with the American Revolution Bicentennial in 1976, started in 75, there was very little interest in heritage. And you could talk till you were blue in the face, and people, you know, when you walked away, they sort of gave it this, and she's kind of touched, you know. And so I said to Jim Stevens, was the editor of the paper then, I said, Jim, I took on the chairmanship of the county, and I needed some enthusiasm in the county, see. And I said, Jim, I'll write a weekly column if you'll publish it. And stir these people up to what we have. They just don't realize that this is rich in heritage. This ground is sacred. He says, I'll publish anything you'll write. And that's the way we're going still.
Very good. And branched out a little bit.
Now radio and newspaper. And I've never taken a dime for the work. I've done it as a love offering.
So you've certainly done an excellent job of it, and everybody in the community appreciates it.
Well,
you have certainly challenged a few, I guarantee you.
I'm sure that some have heard the message, and we are gaining ground all the time, and I'm thankful.
Well, we want to